hyperlapse of these colorful buildings. So we are ready to take off. There's a little bit of wind. So when we're getting ready to record a hyperlapse, we want to make sure that the drone is going to have its last waypoint very close to where I'm standing, where the actual home point is. I don't want the home point to finish its recording and have it be much farther away from me, just in case the battery life level is like much lower. Always keep an eye on it for birds, just in case. On the right hand side, right above the record button, you can click on Hyperlapse. We're going to go ahead and change the max speed from 1.5 meters per second to 3 meters per second. And we want the duration of the video clip something to be substantial, so at least like 20 seconds. We want to take a photograph, one photograph every 2 seconds, and that will be the interval. And you can see it. It says the duration right here, 16 minutes and 40 seconds is how long it'll take to create 500 photographs. And it's going to take a photograph, one photo every 2 seconds. And now we're going to go to the hyperlapse waypoint setting. And now what we want to do is start capturing our waypoints. And by doing that, you press the plus button, and it'll literally grab that GPS location and the direction that the camera is tilted in, everything about what position you are in. So now you're going to want to fly to your second waypoint, really look at how you want this to look, and it'll go from the last waypoint to this waypoint, and it'll automatically create the adjustments, one photo every 2 seconds. So this is our main objective right here that we want to be photographing and getting the hyperlapse. This is going to be the juicy part, is all these colorful buildings. So we want to create some camera angle adjustments, and as you see here on the bottom right above, you see how it goes from good to too large. That means that if I'm looking over just a little bit too much of an angle, it'll say too large, and it won't allow me to create that waypoint. So it needs to say good. So you can't be making, and it can't be too small and it can't be too large, but it has to be good. All right, and then let's see here for this video, let's go back and we'll get this last waypoint a little bit further back. Maybe we can start with a nice view back here and kind of pull in to these colorful buildings, and then we'll pan back up to where we originally started. Now it's saying that the flight time, there's not enough battery length because it wants us to go to where we started. So we're going to go ahead and change the flight path and reverse it. And we just did that in the bottom left on that last screen. It says normal sequence, but if you click normal sequence, it'll adjust it to reverse sequence, meaning that now the drone is going from the last waypoint that was captured, and it's going to go in a reverse order to the first waypoint that I captured, which is exactly what I want. And that way the drone is ending closer to me where the home point is, and it's easier for me to fly home in the event of being low in battery, because these hyperlapse videos do take some time, and sometimes you might be recording until like the very end of your battery, and you don't want to have to fly far to get home. You want to be just right there. We have 13 minutes until we're done, 400 photographs. Our final capture is going to be 20 minutes long. We have 24 minutes of battery life, so we have plenty of battery life. Now we just have to be paying attention to the wind, keeping an eye on the drone, keeping an eye to make sure that everything is happening as it should, keeping my hands on the controller, keeping an eye out for birds or anything else that I could see that could be an obstacle or something that I might need to go ahead and control my drone right away. And for the most part, unless I have to use my controller, I'm going to go ahead and just hold it and kind of keep an eye on my drone and just maintain and make sure that everything's happening as it should. And it for the most part should, but you have to understand that, like,
the drone is collecting these waypoints, these GPS points, and it's going to do its best job to, with the software, go to its GPS point. But if the wind is pretty high and it's been blowing the drone and you started your capture and you're close to something that it could be touching, or potentially if it was, you know, blown in the wind another 10 feet, it could touch a tree or a building or something of that nature, you should give yourself a buffer, especially in windy conditions, or just give your buffer in general, because you might start this hyperlapse and 10 minutes goes by and you got a gust of wind and the wind picks up, and before you know it, by the end of your hyperlapse, your drone has moved just a little bit further out of the way and now you're in jeopardy of like touching something. So just be aware of that being a risk, and plan for that whenever you're doing your hyperlapses.
When it finishes capturing, it's going to automatically create a low resolution hyperlapse. Let's see what it looks like.